Assalamu alaikum. Let's cook. Okay, people. North Fox Island. Now, North Fox Island is the original Epstien Island. This horrific place was located in Lake Michigan. Remote island, people, out in Lake Michigan. And in the 1970s, this was the spot of a sophisticated child sex trafficking ring. It was led by a wealthy white American businessman by the name of Frank Sheldon. Now, this island was used as a resort and a camp where Frank Sheldon and his associates would sexually exploit little boys who were recruited from underprivileged communities. Now, let's talk a little bit more about this guy, this Mayo monster, Francis Frank Sheldon. Now, this dude, Frank Sheldon, he was a millionaire from Ann Arbor, Michigan. He came from a very well-to-do family. He has ties to presidents, governors, even princes. He earned a degree from Yale. He also served in the Michigan Air Guard. Now, this dude had his own company, he had his own plane, and he had his own island. And he operated a pedo ring. Okay? Now, this dude, he was a descendant of the one-time Michigan governor by the name of Russell Alger. Now, this guy right here, Russell Alger, was a Civil War veteran, and he made millions and millions of dollars off of lumber. Frank Sheldon, he comes from one of the most powerful families in Michigan history, and he was a big deal, okay? He was a big deal in this small people trade. In Detroit through the 60s and 70s, he ran around exploiting underprivileged small people to fulfill his sick desires. Now, this is one of his covers, people. Now, this is how he got access to the small people. He created a fake charity called Brother Paul's Children's Mission. Now, Brother Paul's Children's Mission, it was incorporated on June 18th, 1975. It was advertised as an organization which provided services to children with reading problems and minor emotional counseling, and they had classes in physical fitness and all that, you know what I mean? Parents or guardians, they would charge $85 for a child's 6-day stay at this place, North Fox Island. And when they got there, horror. It was just a complete lie and cover-up to lure vulnerable children and their unsuspecting parents to this type of spot. Now, this guy, Frank Sheldon, who you see in the thumbnail, that picture in the thumbnail, that's him. He had a recruiter, okay? He had a recruiter for his Brother Paul's Children's Mission. And this was a white American man who was a school teacher by the name of Gerald Richards. This was the guy who did the recruiting for him. A little bit more about this Gerald Richards guy. He was a gym teacher at St. Joe's Catholic School. He was a husband. He had a small baby. He was a gym teacher. He was also a masseuse and a magician. How disgusting is that, people? The side of his car said, Jerry the Magician. So this guy right here, Gerald Richards, look at this dude. He fits the profile. That was his recruiter. And look at what he's into. He's a gym teacher at a school. He has a wife. He has a baby. He's also a masseuse and a magician. Disgusting. So, since he was involved in education in schools, he had access to small people. So he was the middleman. He was the liaison. He would broker these relationships between these groups of kids and the original Epstien, Frank Sheldon. He would bring them on in, okay? So in the year of 1974, the teacher, Gerald Richards, the magician, he was contacted by Frank Sheldon through a coded classified ad in a magazine pertaining to a magic show with a young apprentice. So you can see these pedos had codes long before the internet. They would put things out there on back pages and magazines and articles, and they would have codes so that they knew like-minded people or people that was into the nasty things that they were into to contact them. That's what they do. So after he put that out there in the magazine, these two met. They spoke. I guess they figured they could work together, whatever, and they started to travel together. They would travel often to Chicago, and they would get boys through owners of porn shops and little raggedy motels. And this guy, Gerald Richards, who's the teacher, the magician, the masseuse, he was also a manager at a porn shop. So he was all in. That's another way that they would pick up these small peoples and recruit other nasty men for their catalogs. Oh, by the way, these guys had catalogs, people. Okay? They would send out a catalog to a list of people, a list of nasty white American men every month. So just imagine if you pay for like a magazine and it comes every month, like Sports Illustrated. They had their own nasty catalog with little people in it that went out every month to the list. Okay? Nothing in this but nasty stuff that is going on this island with small boys. Okay? So this is the guy who did the recruiting. Now, what happened to these children when they went to this North Fox Island? So this is how it went down, people. These children would be flown out on Frank Sheldon's aircraft called the Piper Seneca II. He was rich, remember, he had planes. He knew how to fly planes too. So when the boys went out there, they would be encouraged to take everything off and immediately engage in acts on camera. Now they would have all kinds of wealthy white men there. These wealthy white men were also subscribers to that nasty magazine that they had that they would ship out, you know. So these men, they were the ones who decided that they wanted to be there and take part in the things that went on this North Fox Island. So they're looking at the magazines month after month like, man, I want to be there. And they would whatever pay the fee and they would go out there. Could you imagine that? That's disgusting. Okay, so these men would go there and they would also engage in all kinds of acts with these boys. They have a film crew, photographers, professional, laid out, real footage, because they would get footage and use that footage in the next magazine that they were going to put out. And that would entice other like-minded, nasty, mayo monster American men to say, man, I want to be there. The next one. This is crazy, man. All wealthy white men, part of this nasty organization. Okay? Imagine that. And this went on and on, people. On and on. White American men doing whatever they wanted to do to little boys at North Fox Island. Taking pics, videos, recording. Free will. Now, how did this North Fox Island finally get busted? Well, this is how it got busted, people. Frank Sheldon, who was the old Epstien, the original, and Gerald Richards, the recruiter, they just returned from the island back to the mainland after taking 4 boys from the St. Joe's Catholic School to this island on a 3-day trip. So when they came back, one of the boys told his mother the horrible things that they did to him out there, what Frank Sheldon did to him in a cabin on the island. So the boy's mother, she called the police, told them the story. Then they did an investigation. So they arrested the guy who's the recruiter, Gerald Richards. He's the teacher, the magician, because he works at the school. So they're like, you're the one initiating this stuff. They bring him in. Michigan State Police carried out a full investigation. They discovered large bags and boxes full of child pee in his car, his office, his home. A lot of this stuff had stamped envelopes preparing to be mailed. Remember, he's shipping the stuff out to the other guys. And also they found lists of names and addresses of all the customers who were part of this nasty publication or magazine that they sent out. Names, addresses, all that. And other people who are involved in the child pee and prostitution business. So there it was, people. They had an Epstein type list back then, back in the late 70s. In the 70s, they had this bunch of names of white American men who are engaged in this because they want to be. So this guy, Gerald Richards, He's telling everything. He's cooperating with the authorities. He testified to Congress that this network was overwhelmingly connected to the U.S. mail. Okay? So while he testified, he drew an elaborate diagram showing them how this whole network of small people exploitation worked and how it operated. Sophisticated system. You know what I mean? He also told them that he worked as an assistant to the manager in a Chicago adult bookstore. So he paid very close attention to what customers asked for when they wanted that catalog. So he would know. Again, they had all kinds of code words and stuff like that. So he would know, okay, boom, you want that catalog with the kids. That's what he would do. People, the rabbit hole runs deep with this. The guy, Frank Sheldon, the one who owned North Fox Island, what did he do? He ran off to the Netherlands. He escaped. He ran off to the Netherlands because at the time, the Netherlands did not have an extradition treaty for child criminal sexual conduct. So that's why he went over there. They let him go though. Okay. Now, they say that this guy, Frank Sheldon, passed away in the Netherlands in the year 1996. So he got away. This dude had a whole island of nasty stuff that's going on with small people. They let him get away, and they let him get away, people. There's no way. Now, Gerald Richards, the magician and school teacher, he entered into a plea deal with prosecutors, and he was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Not at all. This is a white American man. He served 2 years at Jackson Prison. Nothing. He served 2 years and got out and went right back to his now father-son magic act. He had a little baby around the time when he was, so he got his little son. His little son is a little bigger now. So he's running around doing a magic act, making money with his little son. Nobody's questioning this creep. But then in 1988, he gets busted again for using the U.S. mail to send and receive small people abuse materials. He gets busted again. He got away with that too. He claimed that it was part of a sting operation to entrap purchasers. They let him go again, people. No trouble for that. So eventually this guy, Gerald Richards, he went on, lived his life doing what he did, and he passed away in January 1994. But they're not sure how this dude died, okay? Some people say that he committed, he did the S thing. Some people say he just died at the age of 53, you know what I mean? They don't know. They don't know. So slaps on the wrist for everybody, people. They pretty much all walk free. 2 years. That's it. Horrific acts, destroying young lives forever. They got nothing. Now, there's a long, cold federal child abuse investigation tied to this North Fox Island, and it's back under the microscope because this filmmaker named Colin Browden filed Freedom of Information Act request to get all the documents. There are 1,047 unreleased files from this Frank Sheldon era, and the FBI is holding on to it. They got all the information. They're not giving up them files. They told this man that it would take 6 years to process and redact the files. So you see who's protecting who. Who opened North Fox Island? White people. Who subscribed to the nasty magazine and went to North Fox Island to do things with small people? White people. Who let the man escape and go to the Netherlands and face no time when they knew who he was? White people. Who gave the other man 2 years, give him a slap on the wrist, he comes out and does magic shows? White people. Who knows about this yet has the power to do something and did nothing? White people. Who's a hypocrite on social media all day talking about God, guns, and glory on the news, yet don't do anything to other men who harm their small people? White people. Who created every system that's supposed to protect these small people and punish the people who harmed them? White people. Of course, we know that there are some white people who genuinely care about children, but you control every system. Just like we know that there are some disgusting black people who harm children. But if we were in charge, everybody would be going in the wood chipper. The white ones, the black ones, everybody. Anyway, easy.